It's called the American Dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.
The late, great George Carlin. Love him or hate him, he had some pretty good wisdom. And he always seemed to have his finger on the pulse of the world and society and what was going on. So, you know what I mean? Was he right? Was he wrong? I mean, you be the judge, right? Let's look at some different examples of what people think. Do we have the American dream? Is it still alive and on life support, barely breathing? Is it live and well? Let's find out, guys. Let's find out together. All right, here we go.
The American dream. What is that? Whatever it is and whatever it used to be is now dead. There is no American dream. The American dream used to be you were young, you got a job. College or no college, you got a job, you started working. You saved up money. You found somebody, bought a house or built a house, had a couple kids, had a little piece of property. The problem is now, today, that's unattainable. You can't get that. So 99% of people now live in apartments because you can't buy a house. You can't own a home and have a family and support your family on one income. Back then, like in 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, usually the husband or the father worked. Mother stayed home with the kids. That's not even a thing anymore. Now two people got to work. And if you don't, it's not easy. It's a struggle. But the American dream is dead. Unfortunately, that's not a thing anymore. All we can do now is just try to get into one day to the next and kind of hope for the best and just get up, go to work, go to sleep, get up, go to work, go to sleep, get up, go to work, go to sleep. And that's it. That's the American dream.
You know, it does make you wonder sometimes, this, perpetual cycle that we get ourselves into. And then we just get into this routine and we go over and over and just the same thing, rinse and repeat. It makes you think, what's it really worth? I mean, your mental health, your sanity, your peace of mind, your freedom, so-called freedom, you just get up, you go to work, you come home, you pay bills, and all the little things in between is just this big cycle. And then you get little slivers, like what I call like the real life, little slivers in between, like, oh, I went to the beach, or I spent, a weekend with my family, or I, did this little thing or that little thing that brought you a little bit of enjoyment. That little sliver is so minute compared to your continuous grind, week after week, month after month, year after year. And you think to yourself, that's all you get? That's all you get out of life? I mean, is this really it? Is this really it? I mean, you really got to kind of start thinking, about the bigger picture and things, the more important things in your life. And you have to put stock on these type of things. But we'll get more into that here in a little bit. All right, let's continue. Let's get some more examples here, guys.
You gotta be in debt like nothing. And it's like, I know God intended for us to do more than just clock in and die. Because at this point, that's all we doing. We barely making enough to survive, and we clocking in and dying. That's all the we doing.
I believe that the government sold us a bill of goods when we were growing up and we were younger. And in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, they taught us that we have to achieve the American dream. The American dream was taught so much growing up to me. And like, you have these things, they put a vision in your head and then you try to achieve that vision. And as time progresses, you realize that vision or that dream becomes unreachable and unattainable. It's so interesting that our generation was the generation that missed out on what it was like to live the American dream. And what I mean by the American dream is you go to college, you get a degree, you finally get to get a good job. College isn't that expensive, so debt isn't that crazy. The cost of living wasn't that crazy. Once you get a job, you can buy a house because the housing market wasn't that crazy. Economy wasn't that crazy. Inflation was not a thing. But then that's all that they teach us. They don't teach us any other ways. But then when we get older, They change the whole entire system and they make the American dream unattainable, and it's outdated. No one wants the white picket fence anymore with the family because one, they can't afford a family, and they can't afford the house with the white picket fence. They can't afford kids, so there's no point in having kids. We cannot afford kids. Apartments are the same prices as houses. Like, are we serious? And then you finally realize, oh my gosh, I went to school for 4 years and now I'm $60,000 in debt, but I have nothing to show for it. You know how many videos I've came across and they were like, hey, I went to college for 6 years. I got my bachelor's degree, I got my master's degree, and I'm working as an Uber driver, or I'm working as a waitress or a waiter or something like that. I cannot find a job in my field. So interesting that they sold us a bill of lies growing up. They made us believe that we can reach something that was unattainable, but then what they do is they dangle it in front of us and we'll never be able to reach it. But then they wonder why this generation has woken up and we're not having kids. We are not, the kids that are younger right now, they're not planning to go to college. They're planning to start their own businesses or go straight into the workforce, straight into blue collar jobs. No one wants to go to college anymore. The college rates are dropping down. The birth rates are dropping down. No one's starting a family, which means no one's getting married. Marital rates are dropping down. The divorce rates are rising because the number one cause of divorce is finances. And so it's almost like they set us up. They set our generation up for failure. We live in the hardest time to find a job. So if you didn't need to hear it now, do not quit your job because it's gonna be very hard to find one. The prices for these stupid broken down cars nowadays, they break down within 5 years, but they wanna price them at $60,000 when they really should be $19,000. So the car inflation is crazy. No one wants the white picket fence with the family and the dog and the kids and everyone's going to college. No one wants that anymore because it's not attainable for us anymore. We wanted it growing up because that's what the vision that was given to us, but now it's to the point to where we don't even want it because it's unattainable, and it's been made unattainable by you, the US government, the United States. Y'all made it unattainable. And so now we're just going through life. Honestly, y'all know how many comments I see where they say, oh, a meteor's coming to Earth. Hurry up, take us out of this place. This is the first time in my life I've seen the majority of individuals just want the world to end. Normally people have a desire to live. Isn't it crazy that this generation have a desire to die? That's crazy.
The American dream ain't real, never was. It's a bedtime story they tell the poor so we don't wake up and burn the whole system down. Work hard, play by the rules, and you'll make it. Yeah? Then why are millions of us barely scraping by while billionaires hoard enough money to end poverty 100 times over? They tell us it's about effort, that if you're struggling, it's your fault. Not the rigged economy, not the landlords jacking up rent 150% since the 90s, not the fact that minimum wage hasn't kept up with inflation since the 60s, and not the fact that half of us don't have $500 for an emergency while CEOs make that in a second. Nah, it's you. You just didn't try hard enough. I say bullshit. They say go to college, but a degree don't mean nothing when you're drowning in debt you'll never pay off. Student loans in this country total $1.7 trillion. And who profits? The same banks that needed bailouts while we all lost our homes in 2008. The same politicians that send their kids to Ivy League schools with no debt, no struggle, and no worries. It was never about giving us a future. It was about trapping us. They say, buy a house. With what? Wages ain't moved in decades. Rent so high, can't even save. The average home price is 5 times what it was in the 80s, and they want to tell us it's just inflation? No, it's greed. It's billionaires and banks buying up homes, turning neighborhoods into playgrounds for the rich, pushing working people into the dirt. They say just get a good job. Where? Factory jobs are all gone. Retail jobs can barely pay rent. Healthcare costs can wipe out your whole life savings overnight. They say the economy is booming. But for who? Because it ain't the single mom working 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. It ain't the guy breaking his back in a warehouse with no benefits. And it sure as hell ain't the millions working harder than ever just to stay broke. And then they tell us, well, at least you have freedom. Freedom to what? To die because we can't afford insulin? To work ourselves to death while billionaires ride rockets to space? To choose between rent and food? That ain't freedom. That's a death sentence. The truth is, the American dream is a leash, a scam, a fantasy to keep us obedient, to keep us blaming ourselves instead of the real enemy, the ones who rigged the game in the first place, and they will keep us chasing that lie until the day we die, unless we finally say enough. We don't need to work harder. We don't need to suffer more. We need to take back what's ours. We built this country. We keep it running, and we're the ones struggling? Nah, not anymore. The dream is dead. Time to build something real.
There is no fucking American dream.
Because the American dream is dead. The average home in the United States costs $418,000. Do you know anyone making that much money? Do you know anyone? Do you know anyone that started a business that's not drop shipping? Or like some sort of AI gig economy? Like, do you know anyone that owns a store? Name 2 people. Do you know anyone that our age that owns a house that did not get help from their parents? Like, there's no jobs. All the listings are fake. Jobs don't even offer healthcare. So then you're on Medicaid, you get kicked off because of the big beautiful bill that just got passed. The American dream is dead. And then they tell you you're not working hard enough. Like, make it make sense to me.
I'm an American. I pay $1,600 for a flat that has no bedroom. That's 2/3 of my income. I'm an American. I work 50 hours a week. I don't have health insurance. I'm an American. I couldn't afford to have a child even if I wanted to. I'm $7,000 in debt. I'm an American. My health is declining because I can't afford Whole Foods because that's too expensive for my life. I am very overqualified for my job, but no one else is hiring. I'm an American. I make my boss hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, while I can barely keep myself alive. I'm an American. I have never been out of the States. I have never been on a vacation. I'm an American. I make $20-some an hour. A livable wage here is like 30-some. Yet I don't qualify for government assistance whatsoever. On the days I don't work, I'm so tired I just sleep all day. I'm an American. My electric bill is so expensive I sit outside in the heat because I can't afford to turn the AC on in the damn house. I'm an American, and I fear I'm just an average American. I'm living the American dream.
Welcome to America, where we work to live and live to work. Where we spend hundreds of thousands on a home that we barely get to step foot in because the hours we work to pay for it keeps us away from it. Where we buy a car just to drive it to a job that barely pays enough to keep the gas tank full. Where our healthcare system will bankrupt you faster than the illness can kill you. Where getting sick is the business motto and the cure is priced like a luxury. Welcome to America, where the food is fake, the water's tainted, and the air we breathe is up for sale. Where the richest 1% own more than the bottom half combined, and they still tell us to work harder. Where we chase the American dream only to find out it was designed to stay out of reach. And every time we get close to the finish line, they just inch it a little further back. Where school doesn't teach you how to live, just how to obey, comply, and clock in. Where education comes with a lifetime of debt and the diploma is nothing more than a receipt for money that you ain't never gonna see again. Welcome to America, where we pay taxes to keep the lights on in government buildings we ain't never even allowed to enter. Where your rights are written in pencil and erased when it's inconvenient. Where justice depends on your income and the law bends to the highest bidder. Welcome to America, where they tell you if you don't like it, then leave, without realizing we had ties to this land before there was even an America, where your labor is valued, but your life is disposable. Welcome to America, where mental health is a crisis, but therapy is a luxury that most can't even afford, where they sell you fast fashion, fast food, and the fast entertainment to keep you distracted from the slow theft of your soul and your spirit, where the news is scripted, the truth is filtered, and history is rewritten to protect the guilty. Welcome to America, where the people who run this country don't live like the people who keep it running. Welcome to America, where survival is success, where we've been trained to call this living, but in reality, we barely breathing. Welcome to America.
We've been hearing for a while now that the middle class in America is basically extinct and has been wiped out, which turns out is actually true because nobody can really afford to have kids. People cannot afford to get married, or if they do get married, then they forfeit buying a house and forget about buying a brand new car unless you want to sink yourself into debt that you cannot pay for. Well, if these talking points resonate with you, you're definitely not alone, because these all used to be markers of the middle class lifestyle. Being able to get married, buy a house, have kids, and buy a new car were all commonplace 30 plus years ago when the middle class was alive and well. Instead, today, younger folks are stuck with rising costs, stagnant wages, and ever-increasing bills that they can't keep up with. So let's take a look at what happened to the middle class and why it's essentially gone these days. Well, if we look back into the World War II era, being middle class meant something like having a steady job, a home you could afford, and just one income while mom stayed home and took care of the kids, all while being able to buy a brand new car and the ability to raise a family without any financial constraints. And I think we could all agree that today's America looks nothing like that. Pew Research defines being middle class as earning anywhere between double to 2/3 of the median national income, depending on where you live. So the median national household income is about $80,000, $85,000. So in order to be middle class, you got to be earning at least $130,000 to $160,000 a year to sort of be middle class these days. And even though that definition really hasn't changed, the amount of people who fit into that category definitely has, as wages just haven't kept up with inflation. Like, for example, back in 1971, 61% of Americans were part of the middle class. And fast forward to 2023, that number has dropped to 51%, which I would say it probably is actually a lot lower than that. I don't even believe that it's 51%. I would say it's probably more like 20%. Because you got to remember that these numbers come from people taking a survey. And they'll ask people, do you consider yourself middle class? And they'll say yes or no, but their definition of what middle class is might be totally different from the real definition. Most people who claim to be middle class certainly don't make 2/3 to double the median national income. And it's not really a big surprise that the cost of living is the main culprit of why the middle class has essentially gone extinct. The median U.S. single-family home has nearly tripled in price between 2012 and 2025, jumping from $164,000 to $460,000.
This is the most unaffordable housing market that America has ever seen. Let's use this home as an example, which is the American dream for a lot of people like me and my fiance. We do pretty well for ourselves, we earn in the six figures, and we've always wanted this. But then this happened. $553,000 for this house. You may be thinking to yourself, well, that's not so bad. Let me show you. This home that was sold for $553,000, that was listed for $489,000, sold for $337,000 back in 2018. This home in 2025 with a $553,000 sale price, 6% down and a 6.5% rate, gives you a payment of $3,716. Back in 2018 with a $337,000 sale price, 6% down and a 4.5% rate, gives you a payment of $1,800. Which means to afford that home today, you need a household income of $230,000. When in 2018, you needed a household income of $100,000. Meaning that back in 2018, a couple with 2 entry-level jobs could have afforded this house. That's the issue that many people like me and my fiance are having. How is it that we have to earn more than twice as much money to do the same things that people used to be able to do just 5-6 years ago?
Being poor is hard, but being middle class, that's a special kind of hell nobody talks about. You're not poor enough for assistance, but you're not rich enough for freedom. The poor gets food stamps, housing vouchers, and tax breaks. The rich, they get loopholes, lawyers, and passive income. But the middle class, we get stuck with the bill. We pay full price for everything, and when we can't keep up, they blame us and tell us to budget better. They got us working 60 hours a week, can't afford healthcare, can't afford daycare, and God forbid you make $2 over the income limit, then boom, all your benefits vanish. So they punish you for trying to do better. Middle class isn't the American dream. It's a fucking treadmill. You run, you sweat, you grind, but you never actually move forward. And every year they crank up the speed just to watch you fall.
This isn't me trying to fearmonger, this is just me trying to prepare you. The US economy right now is like a Jenga tower with 18 fucking pieces missing. We are one piece pulled out away from everything just toppling down. AI was responsible for 40% of US GDP growth this past year and 80% of US stock growth. And the manufacturing industry has contracted for 7 consecutive months, while every other economic indicator is saying this is as bad as things have been since 2009. Now, when you have a sentence that says the economy is as bad as it's been since 2009, you are fucked. So again, this is not me fear-mongering, this is just me preparing you. Our economy is in a very bad place. If you have a job, hold on to it with everything you have.
Makes sense. Like I said before, Wall Street and Main Street, two different roads, two different streets, okay? Don't believe everything you read and hear. Do your own research. But I'm telling you, if you have your ear to the street and you have your finger on the pulse of what's truly going on, and if you're down at your local store and you're down at your local shops, restaurants, things like that, you can hear the conversations. So basically what I'm trying to say is listen to the real people. Listen to what's being said, on the internet, TikTok, whatever, or listen to the real people, the real society, not what the news media is telling you, not what the government agencies are telling you. Listen to the everyday people, the mom and pops, right? Just listen to their sentiments, how they're doing, how they feel the economy is going, the real economy. Okay, you want to feel the real economy. So I think personally, looking at the data and looking at the things that I've looked at, what he said was true. I mean, the AI portion is really propping up the stock market right now. You got 4 or 5 companies that are doing extremely well because AI, like Nvidia, right? Google, Nvidia, these type of companies that are working with the LLMs, right? And because of the AI boom, we're kind of like in this AI bubble right now. So that's really good. It's really good. But underneath that, on the surface level, what is there? Have you noticed how many more manufacturing jobs have came back? Big factories opening up, work signs everywhere, tons of people just can't get workers. I mean, they're just, my God, I mean, the jobs are just, I mean, you walk outside, you trip over one. That's hyperbole. I'm being facetious here. Yes, there's jobs out there. Don't get me wrong, but they're not good, high quality, high paying jobs. If they are, they're few and far between, and they're kind of way out of reach. And the jobs that are out there, that are more common jobs, that are more easily readable, that you can easily get, are just your everyday service jobs, right? They don't really pay a lot, $15 an hour, 14, 15, 16, 18, whatever. And a lot of those are part-time or 25, 30-hour a week jobs. You may need a couple of them just to make ends meet. So it's kind of like a catch-22, I mean, yeah, there's jobs out there, but they don't pay a whole lot, or the benefits aren't really enough, or you don't really get medical, or you don't, there's a lot of things that you have to sacrifice or give up. So basically what I'm trying to say is, it may look good on the surface, but there is a lot of things underneath the surface that you don't normally see, but you can certainly feel it when you go out in your everyday life, right? Looks like the economy is doing good, looks like everything's going great, but when I go to the store and I fill up my gas and I do my, I pay my bills and do my errands, doesn't quite feel the same as what you're being told. So, that's my thing. The whole AI thing is another topic. I'm going to make another video on that. It's a whole nother animal, because there's lots of jobs being lost because of AI. The unemployment numbers not as strong as they expected. And there's just a lot to that. That's, like I said, that's a whole nother video. Anyways, let's see what else we got here, guys. Let's finish this out.
So now that we know that this world is being controlled by people who will never show their face, what do? We stop letting them convince us we're powerless. That's what we do. Because that's the biggest fucking lie ever told. The way you fight back, it ain't with guns or protesting. It's with knowledge. Learn how the system works so you can learn how to break it. Learn how money moves. Learn how taxes move. Learn how business moves. Look outside. Every store, every building, every ad you see, all of it wants one thing: your dollars. This whole fucking planet is a giant shopping mall.
That's the truth.
And we the motherfuckers that keep it alive. You spend money like breathing. You don't even think about it. And that's the real addiction. You don't need drugs when consumerism is the drug.
That's the truth. What he said there. Materialism. I'm going to make a video on that as well. That's a lot. I mean, that fuels, greed. It fuels, like, I'm not going to get into it right now. That's another video. But yeah, materialism, consumerism, the need for this, not the need, but I should say the wants, that dopamine hit, that instant gratification, the latest, the greatest. Oh man, yeah. Next video or one coming up.
Why is everything so damn expensive? I just went to the grocery store to get a few things. Just a few simple things. And I'm about to show you what I got, and I want you to guess how much this shit cost. I got salsa, okay? Salsa is the first thing. Next up on the list, mozzarella cheese. Just this little thing of mozzarella cheese, okay? I got 2 things of prosciutto. I'm making a sandwich. Don't judge me. I got 1 thing of white cheddar Cheez-Its, okay? Sourdough bread. Shit, can't get it in the bag. 4 apples and 1 bag of tortilla chips. Now, I'll give you a second. Guess how much that cost. It's like 7 things. Guess. $61. It cost me $61 to get that shit. What is going on? Why is shit so expensive, bro? A bag of tortilla chips is $9? Since when?
I would much rather chill here in the villages of Bulgaria and Eastern Europe with the chickens than be in America right now, because life here is just so simple, so elegant. I don't have the stress of paying $3,000, $4,000 a month for rent. I don't have to worry about that shit. My rent here is $200 a month. What do I have to worry about? I don't have to worry about being stuck in traffic 17 hours a day. Like, what? All these foods in America injected with all these hormones and steroids and GMOs. No, thank you. No, thank you. If I want chicken, I got one right here in my backyard. I don't need to be in America to be happy. So people that say America is the greatest country in the world, I'm sorry to say. I am so sorry to say. That is just not true. And I think everybody is beginning to realize that. Everybody's beginning to realize how shit America actually is. The American dream? Yeah, that's just something Hollywood sold you. So don't believe it. There is no American dream. That's been dead since the 70s. I'm going to be chilling with the chickens. So, excuse me while I go enjoy my life.
The other day, I was doing what I do, and that's bitching. I was bitching about the economy and how we're all so broke. I can't find the comment now, but I wanted to clap back. This dude said I was drinking the Kool-Aid because, you know, the stock market's doing so well and people's 401ks are up, so technically the economy's actually doing great. How's the stock market today, Bubby? And then the news outlets have the audacity to tell us that we should now start worrying about a potential recession. Where have you been? And this is kind of political, but it's kind of not. You see, the whole thing is a sham. You see, we're all at the downstairs level of a 2-story outhouse pointing the finger at each other, while a select few very fortunate people have us eating sugar cubes out of their hand like a fucking horse. Fuck this shit, dude. Why does the stock market have anything to do with my daily life at all? Or why do I have to give a shit? I don't have a 401k. I don't know shit about the stock market. I have no interest. I invest in tangible things, like shit boxes.
Oh my god. Oh. Oh, some people are so funny. Oh, anyways, guys, a lot of good points were made, and I hope you got something from this. If you guys made it this far to the video, appreciate you hanging out. You guys are the real ones, all right? You're the real G's. I appreciate that. And that being said, we're going to end it here. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, help us with the algorithm, reach more people and grow, because we're kind of a small channel right now. But anyways, guys, I don't know what to say with this. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to tell you. Well, guys, I could not have said it better myself. Appreciate you showing up. If you've made it this far into the video, then you're a real one. Thank you so much. Thanks for likes, shares, and subs. I really do appreciate it. It helps a small channel grow. It helps the algorithm. And I hope you learned something. I hope you found it insightful, or at least funny, or made you laugh. And let me know in the comments below, guys. Do you think that the American dream is still alive? Is it dead? Was it just a pipe dream? Because remember, nightmares are dreams too, right? Huh? Anyway, appreciate it, guys. Till next time, much love, peace out, and do me a favor. If you have dogs, give them a hug and love them. They're worth it. All right? All right, guys. See you guys later. Shit boxes. Oh my god. That's hilarious.